Well, now comes the fun part. I get to screw it down. Certainly a lot more fun than drilling all those holes. So I'm going to take the screw. Chances are you're not going to be able to get these screws. I work in the trade, and I have access to these kind of things all the time, so it's a relatively common thing for me. And you can buy screws, similar screws to this, but what you'll probably wind up doing is tapping out each one of these holes. That's not a bad thing. I mean, it just will take a little while longer, that's all. These ones, the big advantage is it's fast. It's hard to tell when there's a little bit of a upward bow in this sheet, and so this first screw had to pull that down. Alright, what I've got here are all the ingredients for making the adjustable feet for the steel table. I've got 4 1-inch washers. These are pretty big. They're about 3/16 of an inch thick. They'll be the very base of the feet. Next I have some 1/4-inch fender washers. It would be better if I had 3/8 fender washers, but I got these. I don't have any 3/8 fender washers, so I'll have to drill out the hole in these to 3/8, and I'll show how I do that. Next thing are just some regular 3/8 washers. I got 4 of those. T-nuts that go in the bottom of the legs. Regular nuts that are going to be attached to the adjustable foot. And some 5/16 washers. 5/16 washers fit on 3/8 threaded rod perfectly. I mean, it's a real nice fit, and I'll show what I'm going to do with those pretty soon. I also have pieces of threaded rod about 2 1/4 inches long. To cut those to uniform length, I made this block of wood, and you just stick the threaded rod in, put a flush on the end, and then just use the zip cut blade and the grinder to cut it off. There's other ways of cutting this. If you have a chop saw with a abrasive blade, you can do that too. That cuts it off fairly square. It doesn't have to be perfect, but should be half decent. Now I'll take the grinder and clean up the burrs on the end. This block has another purpose, and I'll show you what that is right now. All you do is put the threaded rod in, and then use one of these washers, and that'll hold it in place so that it can be welded on there. Just get a couple of quick tacks on there, then I can do a full weld. Before it does too much burning. Just have a pan of water to dunk those in. Alright, so That's the first step. Get that welded on there like that. So I'll just go ahead and I'll do the other 4. To make these 1/4 inch washers so that the 3/8 threaded rod will go through, I'm just going to clamp them in the vice grips here. Not very tight. I don't want to distort the washer. And use a step drill. Step drill is good because it doesn't grab. It's not really aggressively cutting. This is about the only way I've found to effectively remount a washer. I've tried putting it in the vise or trying to hold it with the edge, with the vice grips. That just spins out. This way it really works well. So I've got 8 of these to do. Let's go ahead and do them. Okay, now that all the washers are drilled out oversized, and I just deburred the edge of the hole so they'll fit tight together, I'm going to be taking 2 of these and welding them onto this bigger washer, the 1-inch washer. To hold it in place, I'm just going to use the things that I made up earlier. Slip it on, put another washer on the bottom, thread on the nut, and then just eyeball it in position. Alright, anything zinc plated you want to be welding it outdoors where you got lots of fresh air, you definitely don't want to be breathing in that vapor. So that's it. I'm not going to do any more than that. Those 4 spots will hold it. And I'll just go ahead and make the other 3. Okay, they're all done. On this one I got a little bit carried away and I actually welded the thing onto the washer, so I got to cut that off. Just do that with the zip cut blade. You don't want to do that. You want to weld the fender washers onto the big washer, not this one onto that. That's it. Now, you know, these don't have to look pretty, but you certainly take the grinder and clean them up a bit. I'm eventually going to paint these, so. Yeah, what they'll need to be is relatively flat on the top here, because the way this goes together is the thing that we made earlier goes up through. So it fits in that recess there, and then put one of these 3/8 washers on there, and then take one of the regular nuts, put that on, and just you don't want to make it tight. You want to be able to have this so that it has a little bit of room to swivel and pivot. And then what I'll do then is I'll weld this nut onto the threaded rod. Now, to give it some protection, I just threaded the nut on here and put the ground clamp on. Any spatter I can probably file off anyway. This needs to be half decent, so I'm going to put a couple of good welds on here. Change my water because the other stuff was getting a bit too hot. So I'll take the nut off and that's it. As finished. You can see that this part turns quite freely. It's free to wobble. You can say this will conform to the floor, however which way the floor tilts. The only thing left to do is to install a T-nut in the bottom of the table leg and thread it in. Then to adjust the height to make the table level, just use a wrench to turn it, and that'll level the table right up. I'm ready to put the adjustable feet on the legs now. I've removed one of the legs. I'll do each one at a time. So I've removed this one. I cut it about an inch shorter than it was originally because I want to maintain this table height, and the feet will add almost an inch. So I also changed my mind on the T-nuts. I'm not liking the idea of using these in this end grain. Cedar being very soft, it probably will work loose after a while, and more than likely will press up into the wood. So I made something a little bit more substantial. That's this here. This is made from the same scrap metal that I made the brackets for the table, for the legs. I just drilled 3 holes in it and welded on a nut and then cut it to length. So that will sit on the end, and it will be a bigger, more substantial bearing surface for the adjustable foot. So I went ahead and marked out the center. Now I need to drill a 3/4 inch recess for the nut to fit in, about the depth of the cutter, the Forstner bit cutter. Next thing is to drill a 3/8 hole. I should have made the whole thing 3/4, but this will give it a little bit more support when it goes up. Just drill that out about 2 inches deep. And that's it. We just take the homemade T-nut and drive it in. Now I need is 2 screws to hold it in place. And then just to make sure that it doesn't move, I'll put a little bit of glue on here too. Wipe off the excess. Alright, now it's ready for one of the feet. I've cleaned these up and painted them. I found some brown paint here. It really didn't matter what color. I just wanted to get them looking good. And just thread that in. So that's it. I've just got 3 more to go. I'll put this one back on the table and take off the next one and do that one.